Hello everybody, how are you? My name is Jens, aka Spittle, and with me tonight is Mark Hallish.
Hello.
Aka Tunso on the forums. And also with us remotely this evening from his secret location.
From parts unknown.
From parts unknown, although we know.
Yeah, we know.
We know,
We
and he should never forget it if he does anything that displeases us, is Meps.
Hello everybody.
Wow, you sound like you're super really remote. Can we hear you a little better?
Let me fix something.
Alright. Let's give it a try. Anyway, okay, so let's get started tonight. First thing we want to do, now that we've done our introductions, is really tell you what this webcast, this live stream is all about. It's called Work in Progress. So what is Work in Progress? Well, Work in Progress is an opportunity for us to show you, the community, something that we're intending to do or are working on with the game. And this is technically our second one, because we really did one for Armories, although we didn't call it Work in Progress when we did it. So this is really our first official Work in Progress. Work in Progress is going to be something we might do a live stream and show you something we have in the works, or we might actually do a forum post and get people's opinions on something we intend to change and would like some feedback on. So it's an effort for us to try and get some feedback from you, the community, long before something hits test and we don't have as much time to react on it, to give you something that's more in tune with what you want. So that's really what Work in Progress is all about. So there's going to be a new section on the forums called Work in Progress under developer is it under developer discussions?
It is under developer discussions.
Okay, yeah.
Can
So
you hear me now, by the way?
no, but that's okay. I actually kind of prefer it this way. I just didn't want to be mean.
No, that makes sense.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, there's a new forum called Work in Progress where we will be putting up all kinds of ideas like this, and if we do a live stream, there'll be a replay of the live stream loaded up there for you to look at. And after the show, we're going to show you where that is, and we'll put up a post from me and from Tunso talking about what this new feature is all about and what the details are. So let's get started. What is this all about? It's called Weapon Mastery, as you saw. So DLC 10 is going to add a new feature to the game called Weapon Mastery. Well, what is it exactly? Well, it's an effort to get you closer toward DC characters like this. So you can see here Arsenal, otherwise known as Red Arrow, who was like, Speedy, Green Arrow's sidekick, and typically used a bow before, but then he became Arsenal, which means that he has all kind of awesome weapons at his disposal. You can see on the right he's using the bow more traditionally, and then on the left you can see he's got some swords or batons coming out of his back and knives on his hip and a dagger and stuff like that that's actually stuck in a dude in the back. So really he's able to use lots of different weapons. Here's another example. Deathstroke. You can see the character here holding a rifle and a staff, and on the right side he's got a one-handed sword and even a pistol on the holster there. So he's got an arsenal of weapons at his disposal that he uses all the time. What else? Huntress. Here's a great example. You can see her kind of smashing through the glass here, so she's very kicky and punchy if she wants to be. And she also has a crossbow, a little handheld crossbow in her hand. And she typically uses a staff sometimes as well, as you can see on the right here. So basically, Weapon Mastery is a way that we're trying to get you to flow through different weapons during the combos that you use in the game. Okay? So let me talk a little bit about why it's cool and what our goals were that we set out to do and accomplish this. First of all, we had skill points that were kind of like, I don't know, a lot of skill points and not a lot to do with them.
It was time.
Yeah, it was time to do something with these skill points. Right now, you're a person sitting on 160, 165 skill points. You're pretty much focusing down one weapon tree as your weapon, partly because it was so freaking hard to get weapons you wanted in the game, but that's changed.
That's right.
Right? So you can go get your weapon of choice now. Just go ahead and buy that. So you can do multiple weapons right now. And you can certainly switch them out and be like a hand blaster guy and be a one-handed guy and this occasion suit you, or you can do that with armories even now more easily, right? You can save out templates with different weapons. But that's not what Weapon Mastery is all about. It's not just about switching weapons, because all that leads to is still you having sort of these skill points that you're putting in all those off trees, which you really only care about padding your stats.
Right.
right? And so, and you know, you go down the middle column, and then you unlock those little ones on the side, which give you all the bonus stats. And maybe if you've got enough, you go down to that second row and get the ones that even have more diminishing returns on them. So it just kind of feels like, well, what am I doing? I'm putting skill points in my guy to just get this wall of stats that doesn't do anything meaningful for me in terms of the action mechanics of the game. And so we wanted to change that. So Weapon Mastery is all about how you spec out your skill points. And Mark will go into that later when we show you a little bit more about how it works. And like I said, the other thing we wanted to do was get you and your characters closer toward multi-weapon use, or having kind of, you know, the feeling where you can use a one-handed weapon and then maybe rock into another weapon. And we wanted that to flow, okay? So one thing I want to make clear of what Weapon Mastery isn't, okay? It isn't mix and matching various weapons and holding one in one hand and one in the other, okay? That's just impossible for us to do. Essentially, to do that, like shield on your right hand and one-handed on your right hand, there's, you know, we would have to make entirely new animations, and at that point it's just becoming a new weapon set. And with the a number of combinations that there would be, it would be this infinite amount of ridiculous work, and certainly a huge hog of memory we already don't have. So it's not independent mixing and matching of weapons. What it is your ability to focus on mastery in a certain tree and flow into off weapons in the middle of your existing combos. And we're going to go into that in a second, and it's very cool. So you're actually switching back and forth, or switching to a new weapon and then back to your primary weapon and then off to your weapon mastery combo, which uses an entirely different weapon all throughout the middle of the combat. So it really adds a more meaningful and cool way to master the weapon combos through use of skill points.
Right.
Right? Okay, did I miss anything there, Ted, that's important?
I think you got it.
I think I got it. I nailed it. Yes! Okay, let's move on. All right. So let's talk about questions during this live stream and work in progress. Here are your instructions. Violate them and you will be ignored, and you will QQ and cry and say, why didn't you answer my question? Well, it's because you didn't follow basic instructions. Okay, so here are the instructions. First of all, don't ask a dumb question, because MEPS won't pick it. Okay, ask a good and intelligent question, and then MEPS will pick it, or at least he'll look and consider it. The second is, type in all caps in front of your question the word question. If you don't know how to spell it, look it up now, because it must be spelled properly, right, MEPS?
If you misspell it, I'm not picking it. So. Okay,
somebody already wants to know. Question: how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? And the answer is 3. 3 licks to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. Okay, so that person did right. He asked a very good question, although off topic, and had the proper instructions there. So congratulations to you.
We're only taking questions on this topic.
Yes, exactly. So whatever section we're in and on this weapon mastery topic, that's what we're talking about. All right, so let's get into the details of weapon mastery. First, before you begin, I would like to show the matrix of weapon mastery combos.
The matrix has us.
Let's look at that right now. So what are we looking at right here? Okay, this is a actual list of all the melee weapons we have in the game, and all the ranged weapons we have in the game. And the brawling weapon, if you get weapon mastery in it, will be able to combo into the two-handed and martial arts trees. If you get dual wield, it'll be able to combo into the brawling and bow trees. And those combos are listed right here. So for example, brawling, if you do the back fist and you have weapon mastery in two-handed, you can combo immediately into the doom spin. Okay, so you can see the matrix and how it works right here. Again, we flow from one weapon into another 2 weapons that it has a connection of weapon mastery with. Now, the more skill points you have, the more weapon mastery connections you're able to make and suddenly become an awesome weapon master. Okay, and the goals of this in general are to really kind of the other thing I wanted to mention too before we get going was to also give people an alternative to clipping, right? And we'll see this when Mark actually starts playing it in a little bit. So a lot of people don't like to clip. Why? Because they like their two-handed guy and they like to see the animations, or they like their martial arts guy and they love to see the animations, and they don't like to clip. But clipping is a necessary thing in the endgame content right now. So weapon mastery, if you're a person that doesn't like to clip, Weapon Mastery is for you, because it's actually all about timing and letting those animations play out in all their awesome glory and soon to be amazing power. So let's get into the game here, and I'll show this screenshot again if you would like. Are we supposed to take questions right now, Meps, on the Weapon Mastery overview? Or were there any interesting ones?
You better keep going. We need some more details, I think, to get good questions.
Right. Okay. Yeah, better questions. Let's get going with more detail to provide those better questions. All right, so here we are with Captain Bro, right? This is your character? Is this
right.
Your main?
This is my main on Phantom Zone, our internal server.
Internal. Oh, look what you have on you!
Oh, look at that, a green aura.
Green aura! What's up?
I happened to get one of those.
GU34, or 35, I should say, right?
Yes.
GU35 patch notes are up. Check them out. Don't do it right now. Keep watching.
That's right.
Okay.
So let's talk about trees, I guess. The first thing to start with here. So you should know also, this is literally work in progress. We are implementing, like if I wasn't here, I'd be working on dual wield. Working on. This guy has he's a brawling weapon master, and so you'll notice there is a new box in the upper right-hand corner,
which will contain a Brawling Mastery description.
That's right.
Which is not there right now.
As you can see, it has the placeholder Brawling Mastery description box. And so to qualify for a Weapon Mastery, you have to spend the requisite number of points in there, which currently we're thinking is probably going to be about 20. So you'll have to spend 20.
So you need to go deep in the tree.
Yes. So you'll have to buy, even if maybe a skip ground pound because you don't like it, but you'll still have to spend 20 points in
at least
something.
On some of those passive stats or something down there.
That's right. And this build actually doesn't have. We just got that working. The whole spending 20 points.
Right.
So
keep that in mind, people. All the damage you see coming off these, any possible prerequisites, numbers, all of that. It's in flux. Some of it we have planned, and it's not implemented yet. And we're interested in hearing your feedback on it too, because we can always make changes. Hence, work in progress.
That's right. So you buy the Brawling Mastery box. That's cool and everything. What happens? You get some. There's a couple boring passive type improvements that happen. You get access. There'll be yet a new better row of stats underneath the boxes.
Under there?
Under here.
Okay, so a fourth row.
There'll be yet a fourth row of stats there, and those will be tuned to like I believe CR 115.
Must be CR 115 to unlock?
No. The value of the stats will be good enough that they'll last you into the next couple of years.
Yes.
Right. So they will look very nice when you
so not a predicate,
see them.
a tier band for where they're useful.
You will need obviously to unlock Weapon Mastery to get to them.
Yes.
Right.
So you need to spend your requisite points, unlock the mastery, and then these combos open up and the passive stats underneath that you can buy.
But fact of the matter is, I don't think you're going to care much about the passive stats at first because of
you want those.
You want these, right? So more importantly, these unlock. You see, I have Home Run Mastery, Doom Spin Mastery, Shuriken Storm Mastery, and Enhanced Shuriken Mastery. So you can see that Brawling can do some martial arts and two-handed combos.
Okay, let's look at the spreadsheet really quick and try and put that into context for people. So as you can see right here, here's Brawling. It goes to two-handed and martial arts. And then there's dual wield, which will go to Brawling and bow. Martial arts goes to dual pistol and hand blaster. One-handed to dual wield and hand blaster. So you can see that. Imagine that same tree you just saw with Brawling. You're going to see that on shield too, and you're going to be able to open up shield weapon mastery, which will then open up these 4 combos underneath: 2 for two-handed, 2 for dual pistol. Okay, let's go back to the game and check that out here.
So yeah, what happens when you buy the box? When you've just bought normal Brawling Mastery, you will notice that certain abilities, the combos that lead into the cross combos that you just saw, will in some cases gain a damage boost, and in some cases, if they're melees, they'll gain a cast bar. Now that's actually not a bad thing, because you'll see Back Fist now is a cast bar. It hits twice.
Yep.
And the normal just the normal hit of Back Fist does a little bit more damage, and if you let it go all the way, it does a little bit more damage beyond that.
So you don't necessarily want to clip out of it.
You don't necessarily want to clip. I mean, maybe it's not enough. Maybe it's still better that you could you still want to.
Depends on your superpower.
Right. I mean, you may still want to clip it. Whatever.
Sure.
If it does more damage, it's going to do more damage. So that's cool and everything. But the really exciting stuff happens when you unlock multiple masteries.
Right.
And being a multiple master is what you really want to do. That's when you start getting into the cross combo stuff, right? So I have brawling, and I also have martial arts is also mastered, right? So
which it gives you different links to other things as well, which
That's
don't
right.
necessarily go back to brawling.
Yep.
It's all one directional. So there's nothing that goes, oh, you got a bunch of people coming at you, dude. What's going on?
who are these guys?
I don't know.
Oh, it's the headless
Clients.
Hello, headless
This is how we
clients.
test. Look at all you people. These are the robot use players. Let's get out of the way.
You know what they killed my targeting dummy.
They came right for him.
They are. By the way, if we turn them PvP, that is not what you want to see.
Yes, they'll come right after you. They're coming again.
Oh,
All right, go up on a roof. Go here. They
Okay,
players, robot players,
I'll
griefing
tell
the
you
stream.
what. Yeah, I know, man. It's like you just can't get away from it.
Even the headless clients want to get on Twitch TV.
I just
Here,
want.
how about that right there on that roof?
I'm gonna.
Perfect. Oh, where are you going?
I just want. I
Going
want
to
a
the
flat.
beach?
I want a flat space with
Oh,
enough
okay.
area
All right,
to
fair enough.
to knock a dude around. All right, so let's get to some exciting stuff, which is so I'm gonna do the Doomspin combo, right?
Nice.
Yes. And so you mentioned a little bit about how we wanted to make this be more about like timing
Yes.
and rather than just clipping as fast as possible. The damage for these weapon mastery cross combos are tuned to be competitive with the top end like combo powers, so
Right.
like Raid, Celestial, Light, those. And the way we did that
Meaning
is
combo powers, meaning powers that
clippy
allow
head-
you to also combo through in the trays.
right.
Correct.
So a lot of times you can clip a power with itself,
Yep.
and basically do all the things that the super heavy clippy
Right.
sorts of
and there are many powers in the game that don't have that mechanic.
Right.
So this is really going to be great for people who like those powers.
That's right. Yeah, you'll be competitive no matter what you play, really. So so what we did basically, obviously the combos themselves hit very hard. So I'll do. So you'll see that's supposed to be a two-hander there, but
Right. One of the things we don't have.
excuse our dust.
Yes, we don't have the it shows up in your hand tech all done yet.
Yep.
So we're getting there.
I'll probably start randomly wielding a bow here pretty quick too. That's
Okay.
another bug that happens.
Yeah.
So you can see actually I crit there, but the crit bubbles aren't popping up very well. But you can see that just the follow up here, the two-handed smash after my big haymaker hits for
Boom.
hits like a truck.
So and your hammer would show up there. We should note that you're going to be able to choose or you're going to be able to actually have the appearance of the weapons. Correct? Are we still? Did
Yeah.
we cut that, or are we still on that?
That's still rolling.
Okay. So you'll be able to choose the
Kind of just started. Will start functioning tomorrow.
And I don't know if you're going to mention this, but because I'm on the subject, you only need one weapon to make this
Yeah,
work.
this is
okay.
important to note.
So if you are doing the brawling like he's doing, the only weapon you need to have equipped is your brawling weapon, and even the attacks that you're doing with the bow or two-handed hammer here are going to use the stats off that main weapon.
Mm-hmm.
But you will be able to select the appearances of the other weapons that you have, so you can choose what your bow, what your martial arts, or what your two-handed look. I keep saying bow because we randomly had the bow up here, but what your two-handed weapon or your martial arts weapon will look like. So everything's customizable from an appearance, but we're not making you go on a chase for all these weapons. Now, let's say if you want multiple mastery in terms of being able to go from brawling and you got mastery in martial arts and you actually want to unlock the ones underneath, so you equip your martial arts weapon, you would need a brawling and a martial arts weapon if you want the two different options.
Right.
That's important to note, and we can clarify that on the forums as people ask. But
So getting down to brass tacks here, there's the
I love brass tacks.
oh yeah, they're fantastic. So the kicker here, which is the super cool part, how do your superpowers work into this? Rather than trying to clip as quickly as you possibly can to get maximum damage, what you want to do is you will want to time your superpower use to the impact of the swing, right? So if I do that and I manage to connect, oops.
Then you use your power
Then
after
my
that.
Right. You get a really, it's basically you get a triple chance to crit, and potentially an increase in your the amount of damage the crit does.
Okay,
right?
so you're
so
doing
what that
a-
actually means, if you get all the crit you can get, you could actually have a 100% chance to crit with a superpower if you get the timing down.
Which could be huge damage.
Yeah, which is going to
so
be huge
basically,
damage,
you're
so.
doing your brawling combo, and you've unlocked the home run smash, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you do the big home run smash, and if you activate the power right after it, that has this huge chance to crit and is doing a huge dump of damage onto the enemy. And obviously, you want to let that time out and play all the way out in order to make it happen. Clip it, you don't get that.
Yep.
Right? You don't build up to that.
And
Cool.
it's easier said than done in some cases too, because the windows in some cases are very short. Oh, see, I missed it there.
So it takes
this
skill.
It will actually take skill to get. Dang.
You have to master
Believe
the
it or
weapon.
not, other than Sport, actually, I guess I'm the only person who's seen this.
What,
Except
this particular...
for the gazillion people. Because I just finished this Friday.
Oh, gotcha.
So
This combo you're
I haven't
talking
had
about.
I haven't had like months to practice it yet.
All right, so what are the 4 combos? And I want to stress again, for if those of you tuning in, this is Weapon Mastery coming with DLC 10, going to allow you to choose Mastery in various skill trees. You need to go deep in there with the skills, point expenditure, and certain weapons have links to 2 other weapons. In this case, Brawling has a link to Martial Arts and to Two-Handed. You'll get 4 combos, 2 for each of those weapons that it connects to. Why don't you go through all 4 of the combos in
Sure.
succession here?
So this will be the Doomspin one,
Nice.
and I hit the window there. And then we have the Haymaker into Home Run.
Nice.
Nailed it again.
And we don't have the weapons showing on every one of these powers yet. Again, work in progress.
And then
So
for ranged options, we have
that was Brawling into Martial Arts.
Yep. And then
Nice.
same thing with Stomp Smash. This would be your single target option.
Nice. And then you can use the power right after
Yep.
that, clipping it, getting that huge crit that you're talking about.
Yep. And so that's Brawling.
Okay.
I'll show you Martial Arts is the other one that we
Cool.
have.
How about
And
let me
ag-
hop in with a question?
Yeah,
here?
please.
So about 1 billion people have asked. This is
Really?
awesome.
There's that many people watching?
There's a-
Yeah, well, about 3,000 people have asked. This makes sense for damage. How does this impact the rolls as well? The other rolls besides damage.
Good question.
Yeah, so I mean, pretty much everybody has the opportunity to do damage, but so more or less everybody will be able to do more damage if you have weapon mastery. I mean, I imagine just doing combos to get your power up as a healer and being able to contribute a lot more
Right.
than just just sitting there spamming whatever's fastest.
Right. We've always imagined healers, trollers, tanks contributing to damage, and I think there's a state in the community right now where a lot of those are just meant to, you're the green bar guy, you're the blue bar guy, you're the guy that makes me not get hit. And while that's true, we want those roles to be there. We still want those players to feel active and participating.
Right.
And I think this goes a long way to making them more useful about not just feeding the DPS players.
Right, because you can still do your job and do weapon attacks.
Right.
Right. Obviously, if somebody's about to die, you will stop what you're doing to heal that person.
Right.
But that's not
Especially
that's not
when
100%
doing your job. I mean, talk about that. Would the crit apply to a healing power that you use right afterwards?
No. Right now
just
it's
for the
just- yeah,
damage.
right now
Okay,
it's just
there you go.
So, right. So what did we just? Yeah, we just switched to martial arts. So martial arts has a couple combos. It has let's see. Oh, that's right. Martial arts is with dual pistols, as you can see. So
Cool.
the knee goes into the loft shot. Right?
Nice.
And then we have what is this here? Oh, that's not.
Why'd
one.
you picked a guy with such tiny hands?
Oh yeah.
I can't barely see those weapons, even though they actually are there. That was Hand Blaster?
Yes.
So martial arts goes to dual pistol and Hand
Hand
Blaster,
Blaster.
which
Yep.
we saw on the chart.
So and obviously you're not seeing the effects, the visual effects, right? So you didn't see the big. Then we have.
And that was a
Right.
dual pistol attack right
Yep.
there.
And again, I mean, you do. It's the same sort of deal, right? So oops, that's I'm so used to doing smoke bomb. I got to retrain myself. Oops, dang. Pressure's on.
You need to master this. There we go.
That's the big stream of numbers. The for ranged, they have oops, come on.
Nice Hand Blaster move
Yep.
right there.
So that's pretty much
And then you do your power.
yep. So that's what we have for martial arts.
Okay. So we've shown brawling. We've shown martial arts. We've shown you the spreadsheet. I'll do that one more time here so you can get an idea of what combos into what. Let me back up here a little bit. I'll move over to the left side here so you can see some of the others. I guess I'll back up. See, I like seeing things in the big text, but maybe I'm weird like that. There we go. Now you can see all of them. And each one will have, what's that?
I was going to say they're just going to pause YouTube and when they.
I know exactly. they'll screenshot this, so you can see all the various combos that we're thinking of right here. And so it's interesting to see, like, brawling goes into two-handed and martial arts, but two-handed doesn't go back into brawling, and martial arts doesn't go back into brawling either. But like two-handed, if you had it up here, does go into martial arts and does go into bow. So now martial arts goes into dual pistol hand blast. So you can see how if you start having enough skill points where you can start spending, and as time goes on and we add more feats and more skill points, you're going to be able to become a serious weapon master.
Yeah, and another thing that's important to note here too. I mean, obviously, the only reason we're showing brawling and martial arts is because that's what's done.
Yeah.
But there's a couple other things we wanted to try to accomplish with this, which is to for some of the weapons that have been traditionally thought of as weaker for certain situations, like two-handed or whatever, just for being very, very one-dimensional. This gives us a chance to really to allow those weapons to blossom, right? Because if you go back and look, you'll see that two-handed has some tap combos now.
Right.
Right. So they'll have a tap hold. So you're not
staff too, right?
Yeah, staff as well. Right. So I mean, you're not if you're playing two-handed, you're not pretty much relegated to only doing just taps or only doing holds. You'll have some better options, and likewise, good ranged. Right.
Which is
everybody's
these are really
ranged.
friendly for the counter mechanics too, because you have some option for branching.
Sure.
So possibly more viable in PvP.
Yeah, I mean, more or less, these are like new weapons when you play them. They don't play anything like what you've been used to playing. So
now, what I like about this is that again, I want to stress you do need a weapon equipped, and it's the weapon of the primary tree you're going for. So in this case, you have a brawling weapon, or you had a brawling weapon. Now you have a martial arts weapon equipped. The stats on that weapon will drive all of the data for anything it combos into, whether it's a dual pistol or a hand blast, right? But you will need another, and that just needs to be equipped. You don't need two other weapons in your inventory or somewhere that are going to be driving the stats or anything like that. It's not like that at all. But the more weapons you actually do have, the more weapon mastery kind of trees you can explore. And what I love about this is armories, right? So even if you don't have a ton of skill points, you can still have a couple of weapons at your disposal, use an armory, and you can spec out weapon mastery in different areas as well.
Right.
Of course, the more skill points you have, the more options you have to be a weapon master, just spec'd out the way you want with weapons you can hot swap on the fly.
And with the barrier to entry, as far as like just getting a double mastery, and that'll unlock that would unlock, say, brawling, like the brawling and the two-handed, if you just cared about the melee, or if you just cared about the range. The barrier to entry for that is like 50 skill points.
Okay.
Right. But if you on the top end for wanting to get a double mastery, so you have a full the full complement of the weapon as well as all the crit boxes. Actually, maybe we should talk about this kind of stuff. We want to move on to that.
Do you need the game up for that, or are we good?
No,
just talking heads?
Yeah, we can just talking heads for that.
Okay.
The fact of the matter is, skill points are gonna really matter, and so one of the things, we'll actually maybe break up the game for a second. This will help illustrate one of the things I want to talk about here. So one of the things we're doing as part of this is oops, I'm totally looking at the wrong. I think Bo is one of those. So we're shifting around where the stat boxes are a little bit, and the reason we're doing that is we want to make sure that every skill tree has percentage-based crit boxes in it.
Let me actually, in MEPS, I just saw a question that I wanted to feed Mark right here about, will we be sort of rebalancing the with the changes being made to these weapons, will the stats of these weapons be tweaked so that not one particular weapon can dish out more damage than another? I say this because going back to one-handed nerf in the PvP respect, that was the fine nerf, but it costs a lot of credit value in PvE, whatever. But the first part of that question is
Yeah.
I
So
think what
this
you're
is
going
out-
into right now, right?
Yes, that will be, well, that's one of the
Kind
points
of.
we'll be going into.
Okay.
But we will be addressing
Okay.
addressing that answer. So anyway, yes, we're adjusting where the stats are in the tree. So we're taking a few of the crit boxes that appear in the middle, like this 1% crit there. We're taking that out, replacing it with something else, and putting more or less making sure every tree is going to have crit boxes that you're going to want in them. So these, that plus 20, because the reason we want to do this is we don't want a situation where bow automatically is bad because it just has 60 points of might. By the time you're rolling, right now you can get 3k might, and another year you'll be like 6,500.
The whole system would be defeated if there was you had to be this weapon master,
right?
Because it min maxes.
Mm-hmm.
We needed to make sure everything was. That's why we only go one direction.
Yep.
So you don't, be like, oh well, this is better because you gain more with fewer skill points, right?
That's right.
Or the stats needed to be redistributed so that one weapon wasn't better than the other.
So we'll be doing that for damage, healing, and the power crit stats. So there will be crit stat boxes in every tree, and another win for that is there's 2% more total crit and 12% more total crit damage to chase after. So a little bit of a benefit to that.
Number crunchers.
Yeah.
That's not me.
So kind of to address the question asked earlier, another thing we're gonna be doing as part of this is doing a combat animation timing pass.
Mm-hmm.
So
Love this.
Yeah. So I mean, for trait powers, we know that long animations are bad, right? Because you want to clip with trait powers, right? So you want something that clips quickly. So long animations are bad. Short animations are very good. I mean, as you know, when we first started developing the game before we released, we had some guidelines.
Set timings.
Yeah, we wanted set timings for how these things work, and then
like in content and in systems, we had some folks that were like, rules.
Yeah, rules are for other
rules.
people.
Yes, exactly.
No. So I mean, there are obviously cases where we've gotten either higher or lower than we want to go, or longer or shorter than we want to go with some of these. So we'll be going through and trying to tighten these basically all the trait power animations so that they are closer to the the 1 to 1.2 second goal we originally had these. So I mean that means some of the really fast ones are going to get a little bit longer, and some of the very long ones that are that plague is a good word to use certain powers will become shorter. And
I think it's important to note, I think that we're going to get mixed reactions off this. The powers that have the long ones are going to cheer, and the ones that have the short ones are going to QQ about a nerf. But I want everybody to understand, in order for Tunso and his system team to do their job and meet the requests of our community to find balance in all of these powers and these weapons, this is a necessary step. There's just no other way around it and no other way to put it. It's a necessary step.
Yeah.
Long term, we need to start this now so we can have a better foundation to go off of with other things we'll be adding to the game and meeting your requests for balance.
Yeah, and likewise, we'll be doing the same thing with weapons. Now, weapons for the most part are pretty close, but they're still, dual wield, right? Dual wield charge up. That's the new hotness. So there's still a handful of weapon animations that are either too long, too short. For the most part, that's pretty good because we've been, that was one of the. I'm sure everybody remembers the great martial arts nerf of 2012. We all remember where we were that day when.
Where were you?
I know where I was. I was nerf for martial arts. But,
yeah, you were on the forums going. Ah! Yeah.
And then one other important part of this is we'll be making a small change to jump canceling to enforce a minimum anim time, because right now you jump cancel an animation. Those of you who jump cancel know what I'm talking about. But you jump cancel an animation that can effectively bring any animation to 0 if you're fast enough and if you macro it. So we're going to be adjusting jump canceling so that it enforces a minimum anim time that fits in with this whole anim pass deal.
Okay, good.
And the last thing. I'm not sure when. I think these are.
And this bullet on his notes here, his outline is called housekeeping. Just so you know.
Housekeeping. Is where we are sunsetting range charge ups. Just
woohoo!
And this is basically the main reason we need to do this is.
What are they becoming?
They're going to become basic holds.
Woohoo!
Just good old fashioned holds. So charge ups require a handshake with the server, right? So if you've ever picked up a barrel or a box or whatever, that actually has a your character says, "I want to pick up a box," and the server says, "Okay, the box is out. You can finish picking up the box," right? So if you're in a
what's the worst is when one of those is actually your block break, which it won't be anymore.
Yes.
One-handed.
Yes, one-handed, exactly.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. And it'll feel. They'll be faster.
I know.
Right. I mean,
I'm so excited.
It feels. You know what? I might. Never mind. So the reason we need to do this, right? The handshake between the server and the client. It's one of the few places where your latency can affect the speed and flow of combat, and they actually didn't feel good. They just didn't work with what we're trying to accomplish here for making combat and stuff smooth.
Get out the broom.
Feeling good. So,
okay, good. Anything else on your housekeeping list?
I believe that's it.
Done.
Good throw that
Outline.
away.
Done. No, my outline's not done. There's more to go. Okay, Meps. Questions,
So
sir.
we've got a bunch of questions. That
Okay.
adds up
Shoot.
to the hour.
We're ready.
Some of these you're going to be repeating yourself, but
Whatever.
Probably worth clarifying.
It takes 3 times for people to hear something before it actually registers, so it's all right. I'm good.
Right. So here's a real simple one. Dara Ranger asks, question: is it only for members or for free to play?
This is going to be part of DLC 10, Amazon Fury. So Legendary members will have that automatically, and if you are a free player, if you purchase the DLC, you'll have access to Weapon Mastery. So, there you go.
Perfect. Question: will this save to armories? Asks Hesenberg.
Absolutely.
Yes, totally.
Absolutely. You'll be able to have... You could, like I said earlier, right? You have a small number of skill points. Would you say 50 to get double mastery, or was that single mastery?
Yeah, 50 gets a double mastery.
Okay, so 50 gets you double mastery. Let's say you're sitting at 55 skill points.
Based on what we're saying right now, it might
yeah,
change.
it could change. We'll see. But you know, as things stand right now, you're 50 plus skill points, maybe between 50 and 60. You don't have enough to go for multiple weapon mastery, but you've got 3 armories, right? You like this weapon for PvE with your roll. You like this weapon for PvE with damage. You like this weapon for PvP, and you only play in tank or whatever.
Right.
You can have different weapon mastery loadouts for all of that using your armories and saving your skill points back. Armories save a skill point spec and a power spec and a loadout. It doesn't care what it is. It's a spec, and the mastery system actually just uses skill point specking to do its job. And because armories actually, load out your weapon, as long as you have a weapon for that primary tree you're doing weapon mastery in, you're good. Now, we said to do double mastery in a single weapon, you only need to have that one weapon, okay, equipped. To do double mastery using armories with different weapons, you're going to need one of each of those weapons you want to do the mastery in. Okay? Make sense?
Yep.
What's next, Maps? Come on!
Right,
These
bring
are
it on.
softballs!
Oatmeal Fox 72 and
Woo! Oatmeal!
1,000 other people ask, how will we flow through the weapon combos, or what buttons is Tunzo pushing to go into the weapon mastery combos?
Oh, awesome. Okay, let's actually do the GPU for a second here, or the game screen, so you can describe what you're doing, and then we can actually show it on the camera main before.
Sure. So in this case, this would be, let's see, this would be tap, hold, hold.
It's basic melee and ranged attack combos.
Yeah.
Is the high level answer. But here's the specifics.
Yeah. So I mean, this would be tap, hold, hold, right? And this one would be tap, 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 or tap, 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 hold.
Right. Bring up
Hold,
your skill
right.
tree.
They're not in there.
Okay, well bring up the skill tree just to show the normal combos. Okay, so which one of these, like for martial arts,
Right,
actually
knee
goes?
launch.
Okay,
So
so
knee
knee
launch,
launch is
Tap, hold,
hold.
and then add another hold.
Right. So
Right.
everything ends in a hold to go into the weapon mastery combo.
Correct.
So whatever one it is on this spreadsheet,
It's going to be tap, hold,
Okay.
or tap, range, or I'm sorry, hold, melee, or hold, range.
So let's look at the. You were just doing martial arts.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Correct.
So let's look at the martial arts one. So that goes to dual pistol and hand blaster, and as you can see, knee launch was the one he just showed you right here. It's tap hold. Well, to do the loft shot, you just do tap hold hold. And then so spin punch, whatever spin punch combo is, you would
tap,
just
tap, hold.
finish
So
it. So
tap,
tap
tap,
hold.
hold.
So you do tap 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 tap.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's four. That's
Okay.
4 taps.
You would do
4 taps, hold, hold.
your standard combo to get to spin punch, and then you would just do a hold. and then standard combo to get to cartwheel kick, and then you would just do a hold.
Right.
Okay?
I mean, we wanted to make the skill, the skill related part of this is actually when you use the superpower, right? So the combos
the
themselves
timing
are pretty.
of that extra tray power move after you do the hold.
Yeah.
You get that tray power in the window, and it's money.
Yep.
Crit money.
That's right.
Okay, what's next, Maps?
All right. Niterize asks, is weapon mastery combo DPS greater than clipping DPS?
It's should be more or less the same. We basically balanced it based on what the combo based powers are able to do in a best case situation.
Okay. Ivybird Odyssey asks,
Hi, Ivybird.
can you chain through multiple weapon sets, multiple weapon masteries?
Not
switching weapons.
sure what she means, but
I think she means can you go into one and then into another and then to another?
No. So you basically have the weapon you have equipped. It has mastery links to 2 other trees that you can spend skill points in, and you can take the combos that are for your equipped weapon and do mastery finishers on the end of that, so to speak, to extend the combo, and then you can extend that damage even more by timing a tray power correctly to key off of that. If you wanted to, they're not infinite combos, as I said in the beginning. It's not supported. And one of the reasons for that too is because, to be honest with you, not every animation looks good going into every other animation, and we didn't want this to become, like a clip fest in terms,
and I mean,
because we wanted to do something that actually gave people that wanted to see the animations.
Right, we want them to look good.
Look
right? So,
really
I mean,
good.
That actually was a big part of why things link together. Obviously, there's the fiction, a little fiction behind it, but that's part of the reason we chose why things go into other things.
Right.
Right.
For the most part, and I think we
was
hit
a
this
factor.
bar, we wanted to make sure that, there was always a sort of a, if you were doing melee, you had a range option to go to, and if you were doing range, you had a melee option to go to. I think that's true still based on the chart, but
there's that in all cases.
I'm going to jump in and answer a question I see here, Maps, and then you can continue. But
Okay.
Og6er asks, will Legends PvP will use this new system? And the answer is no, not at this time. Right now, we don't have plans for it to either. But yeah, no. Okay.
I was going to ask you that one, so
Ha! Stole your thunder, buddy.
now I don't even get
How
to.
does it feel? How does it feel?
It feels about like you'd expect. I
Exactly.
guess.
You know what? I know how it feels, thanks to you, sir.
Yeah.
Thunderstealer.
Death Coma asks, and we've kind of answered
Death
this,
Coma.
but just to reiterate.
That's ironic. Okay. Isn't that did those two things coexist together? You're either in a coma or you're dead. I don't know what a death coma is. Anyway, go ahead.
Wouldn't we still need to clip the weapon mastery skills for even more damage?
No, because then the real damage bonus comes in on the tray power hit. So if you clip, you're going to miss the opportunity of the window to tag on the tray power, which is where the real skill and timing comes in.
If you use if you were to clip a weapon mastery combo too early, you wouldn't get the damage from it. The damage only applies
near
at
the end.
Near the end when the attack actually hits, and that's what you're trying to do is time, get that ba-bam,
Exactly. So
Okay.
if you've got a clippy power, you're going to have to make a choice whether or not you want to clip powers or you want to actually use a weapon mastery.
Yeah.
If you don't have one of those powers that clip, this is going to really make it so that you want to get timing involved.
And you could play one of those powers that clip in
and
this
still
way.
do this.
And still
Yes,
do this, right.
Exactly.
I mean,
it gives you another option.
Right. And in fact, if you wanted to, you might even, want to have all the power in the world, all sit in combo away,
So one question I would ask you is this more of a power? Does this have more power conservation for the output that it gives you? Whereas
terms
Clippy
of,
can kind of get a little power sucky.
Yeah, this will be a little easier on the power bar.
Oh, so controllers might be able to take advantage of some of this too, and not have to just feed the deepsers.
Yeah, potentially.
Okay, good. All right, that's a setup question.
And kind of a follow-up to that, how do you expect this to work with block and block breaking in the fast-paced, combat that we have?
That's really interesting question. Actually,
work
yeah, and you and I talked about this, right? I was curious whether or not that second attack, the actual weapon mastery attack, should be counterable or not. and you had some really good arguments as to why it should. So there certainly is a risk reward involved. In
Yeah,
the
definitely.
system.
I mean, the like the argument to why they should be counterable is you are used to seeing these animations, right? So you see somebody doom spinning and you can't block it. That's weird.
that stinks. Yeah,
that'd be really weird to everybody. So yeah, I mean they will follow they'll follow the normal counter mechanics that we have, and yeah, they should.
Hope that answered the question for you.
Yes, I think it did.
Okay.
All right, here's a good one from Burdusk. He says, I see dual pistol goes into dual wield and hand blaster. Will all weapon mastery options tie into one ranged and one melee?
I think I covered that a minute ago, but let's take a look. I believe the answer to that is yes. So there's always, as you can see here, some kind of I don't think it's exclusively ranged melee, is it?
Yeah, there's a case where like
dual pistol and hand blaster, for example, are
Brawling
range.
has two-handed and martial arts, but martial arts has pretty good range, so that's
okay. So we did break the rule I just talked about right here, where there isn't actually a ranged one, but the actual martial arts combos that are used are the ranged combos. Yeah. So even though it says martial arts, it's using the range portion.
Right. We could really call that shuriken.
Yeah, exactly. So the answer to the question spiritually is yes. The extra combos have one melee focus and one range focus, even though the two weapons might be typically traditionally melee or range. We would be using, because as you know, all of our weapons. I'm talking to a spreadsheet here, aren't I? Did I actually show the spreadsheet a minute ago?
No.
Oh,
I don't think so.
Fail. Okay, so here, how's that?
Oh, you were looking at it, but
I was looking at it myself, and no one was seeing what I was doing. The brawling you can see here goes two-handed martial arts, but this martial arts that you're seeing actually does use the shurikens as we were talking about, or this two-handed and this dual pistol that the shield. Where was it? Dual pistol and hand blaster that martial arts wield. One of these, I believe it's is it the hand blaster one?
Yeah, hand blaster. You're getting the melee.
You're getting the melee versions of the hand blaster. So even though traditionally these are deemed ranged weapons,
well, actually,
all weapons have melee and range.
You actually get a little both, I believe.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay,
you get one of each.
One of each in each one.
Yep.
But there are two melee and two ranged.
There's not always two. There are both.
Okay.
Usually there are two melee, two range, but not necessarily 100% of the time.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to decipher which ones of these are on there after, or somebody will do it for us when they screenshot that.
So, and actually, I think martial arts already having pretty good ranged actually has 3 melee and 1 ranged.
Okay.
So
there you go. So not total parity in that front, but we're getting close. We're getting close. Let us know how you feel about that. What else?
How does this impact might and precision? Does it make one more desirable than the other? That kind of thing.
Nope. I mean, it basically, obviously, precision is going to do the weapon part of the damage, and might is going to do the superpower part of the damage. And we're trying to strike a balance to where those two are actually pretty even.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll still be able to, if you're more weapon heavy, you go more towards precision. If you use more superpowers, you go more towards might.
Mod accordingly.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
What else?
Here's an easy one because you guys need a little breather. Mark of the Beast 143 asks, "Is this on the test server?"
No.
Nope.
No, it is not. It's not on the test server yet.
It is
because
long away from the test server.
This whole show is called Work in Progress. So what we're trying to do is have a dialogue with you guys about what we're building and what our intentions are, what the state of it is right now, to have an opportunity to see your feedback and choose to say, hey, that's a good point, I think we should incorporate that, or maybe you're challenging us on a convention we have, and we would change our mind, or we might actually believe that no, we're right in this case, and here's why. But at least we get an opportunity to explain that to you guys and give you an understanding of why we think it needs to work the way it does, and then that dialogue can continue. Is that what you were going for, Meps?
Yes. I wanted to reiterate that.
Look at you and me, buddy.
You did a great job. Here's one from B. Patterson 81.
Okay.
How did you decide the mastery combinations? Were these based on actual DC characters, or on gameplay, or both?
They were okay. So the system itself was inspired by actual DC characters, and some of those are right here: Arsenal, Deathstroke, Huntress, as some examples. But the actual animation choices that were chosen for 3 reasons. The first, we wanted to make sure that no weapon mastery you got that went into 2 others had a 2-way street, so that there was no, you must play this one because you get both. So it had to go one direction. 2, we wanted to make sure, for the most part, as we just covered, that we were giving you options to have, not everything was just all melee, right? So all of a sudden there was some weapon mastery that was just all melee, all melee, all melee. That there was some mix of melee and range. We already do that anyway with the weapons primarily having melee and range combos. I mean, you're even hitting people with bows and arrows as a melee attacks. So we wanted to continue that kind of variety as we went forward. And 3, it had to look badass. And in order to look badass, it meant that we had to make sure that certain combinations went to certain other combinations, because some things just based on animation and stance alone just did not look good together, and so we didn't want to set up. I mean, it annoys people right now when we have styles that interpenetrate. Can you imagine what would have happened if we started doing that with the combos? So those were the main 3 reasons we did that. Was there a 4th?
No, those were
awesome.
That's our criteria right there.
Next, Meps.
All right, Soar asks, does having a second spec of Weapon Master, or what does having a second spec of Weapon Master get you?
Options. And actually more base stats underneath.
Does it mean another
armory,
like
so if you had, if you basically had, I think this is what Soar is asking. By the way, hello Soar. I think this is what he's asking. If I had Brawling and I did Dual Mastery, why would I want Bow Dual Mastery as well? And as we talked about, it's not just about I have Brawling equipped and these combos, but there's going to be another row of base stats that you can get underneath.
And before you even look at those, you're probably going to want to go and get all the crit stats from all the trees, right? Because I mean, this is all multiplicative on itself, right?
But my question to you is, and hopefully this will answer Soar's question, if I do all that, and then I go and I get my second weapon of Dual Mastery in this existing spec, am I getting, the bonuses of the stuff underneath as well if I wanted it?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, perfect. There you go. And also, with use of armories, you may even just want to swap the weapon, right? Because, and you will notice this too. So there is some synergy going on here, okay? So while there isn't necessarily am I showing the screen maps? You have no idea because you're lagged.
Yeah, I'm behind. But
I'm showing the screen. I can tell now.
Okay.
So you'll notice that Brawling goes to two-handed in martial arts, right? You'll notice that martial arts goes to dual pistol and hand blaster. So if you start looking at hand blaster goes to Brawling and bow. So there's actually does start to be some synergy of two-way streets as you go through and get more and more weapon mastery going on here, which means that you can actually have more weapons and just be equipping those out without respecing. So the more of them you get, the more connections that start to happen. But you can only always flow through the combos that are associated with the weapon you have equipped. That's the one constant to remember here. Okay. All right, back on screen. Hello. Okay.
All right, so that was most of the questions I picked up through that first part. So,
okay.
Oh, I do have one more actually. It's not on topic though, so maybe I'll save it.
Suspicious. Very suspicious. What is it? What do you? If we're wrapping up, there's no time to save it unless this is something you want to ambush me on an FNL with.
No. Okay. So if we're wrapping up, when is Game Update 34 launching?
Is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Okay. I don't know. And did I say 35 earlier?
I don't know.
I think I did. I think I meant 34.
Okay.
So,
34 tomorrow with feat unlocking, green auras, and a bunch of other cool stuff.
I said 35 earlier, and I meant 34. Apologize for that. Meps, you can clean that mess up for me later on the forums.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you can check out the patch notes for that on the forums. And speaking of the forums, let's minimize this over here, and if we can actually, let me just drive this right here. Okay. Let's go over and check this out. I was talking earlier how we have here are our lovely forums. You can see right here under DCUO development. Okay, not dev discussion, sorry, DCO development. There is now developer discussions, testing, feedback, and sandwiched in between, the meat in between the bread of those, work in progress. Okay, so this, you can go in here, you can see a little bit about what work in progress is all about. MEPS will explain it to you. And SOAR already says, what an amazing breakthrough in community relations. Thank you, SOAR. That's awesome. 51 people like your work in progress post in what that is. Good job, MEPS. You're very popular. And you can see right here we have Weapon Mastery thread all going. You can see a little bit about what I had to say about it, what Tunso has to say about it, and then we'll be uploading the video later in case you missed the replay. And you can give us your comments there on what you think of Weapon Mastery and what we need to be taking into account and what your thoughts and feelings are about it. There's also 2 more in here by our illustrious Captain Liberty, who is talking about marketplace amenities and how we are actually making those available to people on the marketplace as well as in-game. You can give us your thoughts on that. And we have total recovery kits coming to the marketplace as well for those of you that want to hang on to those hard-earned mods that you have put in your gear. As you get more gear, you can just go ahead and look at those on the marketplace instead of trying to hunt them down and craft them in game. So awesome new addition to the forums, our work in progress forums. Like I said earlier, sometimes we might be making a change in the game that has to do with an existing system or something on live, and we might just get your thoughts here as we did on those 2 marketplace posts about what you feel about them before it goes live, before actually investing in the system. Other times you might be seeing something like Armories or Weapon Mastery, which is already under development, but we still have time to react to some of your feedback as we bring it toward the finish line, and we want to get your eyes on it early. Keep in mind, all these work in progress videos are going to have things that change. They're going to have unfinished and burrs and barbs and things on them that need to be sandpapered down and filed down. Example tonight would be not seeing the weapons and all of the attacks, for example, or some of the special effects. Please, we apologize for our work in progress state, but in order to show it to you and get your feedback, you're going to have to use your imagination on a few things and fill in the blanks. So that's it. Let's see, GU34 tomorrow, like we said. FNL this Friday. What's going on in FNL, MEPS?
Got a PvE challenge on EU.
Woo! They doing Nexus or are they doing Prime Battleground?
You'll have to tune in to find out.
Oh, Mr. Mysterious. Very well, we shall do that. All right, Tunso. Thank you so much for doing this with us. MEPS, thanks for fielding the questions. And I think that's it. We're out, right?
All right.
All right.
Thanks
Thank you so much.
All right. Night, everybody.
Sony.